All right, welcome back to the JELI Cards podcast, where John and I are spreading the love of the hobby. This is episode 69. You can listen to all our episodes on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts, including YouTube now. And if you are enjoying these topics, please give us a rating and a follow on both Spotify and Apple. John, morning, man.
Good morning, Jason.
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing okay. Freaking Jason over there.
Yeah, full disclaimer, I forgot to click record.
Yeah, we did about 5 to 10 minutes of the episode, and Jason's just like, I'm an idiot. And I was like, we know.
Yeah, true.
So I'm doing all right. Yeah, it's just, we were talking about it before. There were some pretty bad storms that hit like the Chicago area, surrounding suburbs. Thankfully, both of us are okay, thank God,
Yeah.
but close to work, trees all over the place, power lines down, people coming to work telling me they have no power, still no power for over 24 hours. So I'm doing all right. It was humid and gross outside, which is like, I hate humidity. It's the worst combination, humid and heat. So I was miserable. Finally, it's coming back down a little bit, so I'm doing okay. But what's up with you, Jason? Moron?
Yeah, that was the good thing I realized it, because I was like, wait, where's our timer? Oh, it still says record on here. Whoops. Man, we had we were already in a topic of conversation. We were already talking but okay. Let's get back into it. So, before I realized how dumb I am, we were talking about, so I wanted to bring up this because I've been watching a lot of the sports cards videos on YouTube. Especially I've been watching a lot of Roth cards, which I highly suggest anybody, if you're interested in watching, sports card videos on YouTube or any social media content from hobbyists, definitely check out Roth cards. He makes a lot of great hobby content. And the one thing I like most about it is, man, dude spends a lot of money, but he makes some really great deals. He's got super high end, a lot of super high end cards. I believe they're based, I think he said they're based out of Tampa, but he's a huge Washington Commanders fan. I know he's like big on Jaden Daniels, but he buys up a lot of Sam Howell cards too, which I think is awesome. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, he was buying. So watch some of his Fanatics Fest videos because they were really cool. But what I've been noticing when I do watch these videos, even when I watch Jeff Wilson's sports card investor videos as well, and I know you're gonna get into a little bit of the King of Cards. I've been noticing a lot of hobbyists buy up lower graded cards, especially lower graded BGS cards, which kind of surprises me because in recent years, pretty much since the card boom happened, Beckett grading has not been what it used to be pre-COVID. So it surprises me that a lot of hobbyists go out to these card shows and make some crazy, crazy deals on BGS 8.5s. They make deals on BGS 9s. Of course, now they're NT cards, they're flawless, they're immaculate, so they're higher end sets. But I wanted to get your opinion on it because you're big on if you can't, just buy it in a 10. Buy it in a PSA 10, buy it in a PSA 10. So I want to get your take on how you feel about buying some high value cards, but you're getting them in lower grade BGS slabs.
So awesome topic of discussion. Completely agree with what you said about me. If I'm ever buying cards, I'm always looking for PSA 10s. Either it's gotten to the point, sadly, in my opinion, that it's usually PSA 10 or bust. I appreciate the videos that you're talking about because, yeah, King of the Cards is a recent follow that I've started keeping my eye on or just enjoying the hell out of his content because Hockeytown John JK told me about him. All his videos are always just super high end deals, thousands of dollars.
I've watched clips. Yeah, I've definitely watched a lot of his social media clips.
And I like that people are buying up those cards. I think I just had a light bulb in my head now. It's kind of like the topic that you guys were talking about with Pokemon cards that I was not a part of. Buying up lower grade cards in the BGS slabs, they're usually extremely rare cards. Yeah. So it ties into the discussion that pop count is important, and so is the rarity of the card or the interest in the card. If you're going to get a Luka RPA National Treasure rookie in a BGS 7, it's still a Luka RPA. It
Yeah.
doesn't, like, people are gonna want it no matter what the grade is. So it's like difficult to explain, but as time goes on, I told you guys this, my fear is that there's going to be a lot less people searching for BGS and searching for SGC and searching for other grading companies. So I feel like the traffic on the card is going to start going down over time because of PSA's dominance in grading. But to play devil's advocate kind of against myself, the rarity of the card might supersede that happening. So,
Yeah.
and we've talked about it before. Other people who've been in the hobby longer know it too. Pre-COVID, even like maybe years before that, BGS was the king of grading. Like
Yeah.
everyone wanted to grade their slabs with BGS. They love the subgrades. They love the auto grade, all that stuff.
I
They
still
love,
do. I love the
yeah,
subgrades on the slab.
me too. And the thickness of the slab too, it just
Yeah.
felt super sturdy.
Hmm.
So it's, I don't know. I think it's happening on those videos because of the rarity of the card and just the like, I'm one of the 25 people who has this card in the hobby, so they just want it, and grade doesn't really matter. But again,
But why would they grade that card with BGS? Because you are seeing a lot of still ultra modern cards, cards from, 2021, 2022, 2023 being graded in BGS slabs, and these collectors and investors are going out there trying to get them. Yeah, granted, they're very rare cards because some of them are numbered out of 10, numbered out of 25, numbered out of 50, 99, whatever it is. They're extremely rare. But why wouldn't somebody, if it's pack pulled, then take that card to PSA if they know PSA is the top grader?
I texted you guys that I think that's happening because I don't know if it's true or if there's any like proof of it, but me personally, and I think other people in the hobby feel like PSA is super strict and super like harsh on patch cards. So these NT cards, immaculate cards, any other like flawless card that has an RPA, rookie patch auto, I would still send it to PSA just because of what I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
I think there's horror stories out there of sending a patch card to PSA and it comes back a PSA 7. And you're
Yeah.
just like, what the hell happened? How did this get a 7? Versus Beckett, I think, is a little more lenient and they are nicer on patch cards. So that's my explanation for that. But now that, so this is, we're getting way into this, my tangent slash rant. Now that Tops, aka Fanatics, is doing those like MLB debut rookie patch autos, and they're trying to include a lot more patches and rare cards just in general in the
Yeah.
hobby, I feel like PSA needs to somehow like convince people to send their patch autos to PSA so that they can take over that market too. But what's your explanation for it? If you pulled a RPA, would you send it to Beckett or would you send it to PSA?
I mean, honestly, if it was pulled via JELI, I know we're sending it to PSA because you guys love sending to PSA. I have my mixed feelings on PSA. You know that. I think what might help a lot of those cards is having those subgrades on the slab. It could help maybe add more value. It does. I mean, having
I like.
subgrades on the card does add value to it. Even watch some of the Roth ones. They talk about it where it's like, oh, it was 0.5 away from being gem mint, or this has a subgrade 10. Like the centering got a 10, which if everything else has, 9.5s and then there was 110, that's going to add value to that, even though it's still a 9.5 and 9.5, you can have a 9.5 even with a subgrade 9 on one of them. Having a subgrade 10 is going to add more value. So I think that could possibly be why, because it's like that, just that little sliver
Yep.
of a different subgrade that adds more value to it versus like, oh, it's a PSA 9 or I got a
Yes.
PSA 8 on it, but I got a PSA 8.5 in the BGS, so that might make it more value than PSA. That's my opinion on it. Yeah, that's actually a good question. I didn't even think about the fact that Topps is adding basically their own RPAs now to their sets. So it would be interesting to see what collectors and investors are doing with those cards when they're pulling these kind of top chases. Are they going to send those to BGS or are they going to send them to PSA? And then yeah, who's gonna want them? Like what it
Yeah.
comes down to it. I personally just think I think it's like you said. I think it's just the rarity of the card that it's like if there's only 10 of them,
Yep.
And this is what I can, if I can get my hands on this one. Like, there's only 10. None have been graded in a PSA 10. Like, yeah, then I guess I'm forced to have to buy this BGS one. But yeah, it was kind of interesting because now it really changed my perspective on the hobby, like from a collector standpoint and a buying standpoint. Even though I say this probably on every episode, I'm changing the way I'm doing things. But for me, it's like I've been looking at a lot of cards, and when I'm watching these videos, I'm going, well, maybe I'm approaching the hobby in the wrong way. Like, maybe I should spend a little bit more money. Maybe I should start going for higher valued cards within reason, of course. Like, I'm not trying to break my bank here, but maybe I should stay away from those $20 first Bowman Chrome mega boxes that maybe might get me $30 to $40 at call up. Maybe I should try. I told you guys in the group chat, I bid on a Franz Wagner mosaic auto PSA 10. Yeah, and I'm currently winning right now. I made sure to put my max bid at higher than the highest comp that I found on eBay.
Nice.
Fingers crossed that I do win it. But now I'm looking at that going like, well, that's actually, to me, I think that's a very good buy because Franz just got a huge contract extension. He's a really good player. The Magic are an up-and-coming team, and it's an auto. It's not numbered or anything, but it's an auto, and it's PSA 10. And I'm like, well, okay, that should be the approach. Like, it's cool and it's fun to buy up these, $20 mega boxes because they look cool, and you can buy a lot of them.
Yep.
But realistically, in the long run, like, what might get you that huge return? You know what I mean? Like, I think I would get more of a return from Franz, having like an MVP caliber season if he does, versus like I always talk about the Josue De Paula, lunar first Bowman that I bought for $20. Like at call up, yeah, that might be a $40 card, $50 card, versus like I think Franz, if he has an MVP caliber season, that auto can probably double, maybe even triple. If you agree.
Yeah, I do agree
to that.
First of all, any card that makes any sort of money is great. Obviously, a $20 card becoming a $60 card is a 200% increase, which is insane. But again, so I'm going to use the Paul Skeens card as an example. So let's say you bought a Paul Skeens refractor like a year or two ago. I guess 1 year ago. I don't even know if it's been out that long. And a PSA 10 for, I don't know, $100. And now they're selling for, who knows, $200 to $300. Great return, awesome investment, and now you can go buy some more cards.
Yeah.
But I sent you guys that gold draft auto in a PSA 10 that has jumped like, I don't even know, 600%, something like that. Like a year ago, you could get it for a few thousand, and then it just sold for $15,000. Like percentage-wise, it's probably more than the refractor, but it's still just that huge chunk of money is such a great return using the knowledge that we're talking about and the things that you learn as you kind of grow in the hobby. People are always going to be looking for immaculate rookie patch autos. They're always going to be looking for National Treasure rookie patch autos. Everyone's going to always want the true gold refractor auto of some incredible baseball player. And
true blue, yes.
True blue, gold, obviously the reds, the superfractors, which are just like iconic. All of those cards, even if the grade is not where you want it to be, the integrity of the card and the chase of the card might supersede those grades.
Yeah.
I love both techniques. Like if I had $200 to spend, would I buy one refractor Skeens or would I buy 10 megabox Skeens? I think either is a good decision, but if you're looking for that huge jump and that huge chunk in return, you got to spend a little bit more money to make more money. You got to spend like $500 to $1,000 on a sick blue first Bowman auto, hoping that he pans out and has a Bobby Witt Jr. season. You can sell it for $10K.
And I feel like that's kind of like a lot of people's approach in the hobby. Like I'm telling you, I was watching a ton of Fanatics Fest videos. I was watching even some of Mama Breaks like vlogs, and she was talking to this one hobbyist who said he just started collecting back in September of last year.
Yeah.
He had Mahomes rookie autos graded. I mean, the cards he was pulling out, even she commented like, "You've only been collecting since September and you have this caliber of cards already? And he's like, yeah, I've put a lot of money into this. And now, I'm not rich. I'm not walking around
Yeah.
with a ton of money to spend.
Yet.
But yeah, but when I look back at all the money that I have spent on cards, it's like, well, wow, like I probably could have just taken that money, bought something really like really high end of like a better Lamar Jackson rookie card, and then been sitting on something that could be possibly a gold mine in the future, and so now that like my brain is always churning when I'm watching videos or I'm seeing social media clips, related to the hobby, because I'm just always thinking of, better ways to do things and like better ways that we can improve JELI, or I can improve my own, collection of cards and my own investing to try to, better myself in the future and things like that. So yeah, I mean,
I completely agree. Everything you said is just like a testament to, in my opinion, how mature the hobby has become and how
yeah,
much people have grown in the hobby. Because once COVID hit and people were flipping and buying and selling flagship Luis Robert cards, like we
yeah.
talked about before, they're like $5 now in a PSA 10.
Mm-hmm.
The hobby has grown, matured. People are like smarter. It's kind of a harsh word to say, but people are just,
They're,
they're
yeah,
thinking,
I mean, yeah,
yeah,
they have a little bit more common sense now when it comes. They're not just like we always say. They're not the wild wild west. They're not just shooting from the hip, just trying to grab up whatever they possibly. I mean, they still are.
yeah, sometimes they are.
We still are, but we're being a little bit more.
We're
We're
thinking
being,
things through.
yeah, yeah. We're using more logic.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is funny that you said that, because I saw a clip the other day and this guy was talking about he bought a $4,000 Wander Franco 101 first edition auto, and it was graded PSA 10. And like he bought it, and he said in the video his plan at the time when he bought it, his plan was then to sell it at the National. I believe obviously that was probably the one of the ones that was in Chicago. Or I can't remember how long he said ago that was. But of course, then everything, everybody knows what happened with Wander. And he's like, now that card that he spent $4,000 on, I think he sold it for $127.
Would you do that?
I mean,
I don't know.
at least he got $127 back. But yeah, that's rough. And I know he's not the only person that spent money on Wander.
Yeah,
I was
tons of
spending.
money.
I didn't spend a lot, but I spent money on them, and now they're just gonna sit there. Like they're just going to sit there unless I, accept a $5.
Yeah,
If somebody's willing to pay me $1 for them, I guess here, take it. What am I supposed to do with them now? It is the tough part when you're thinking about, well, should I spend a lot more money? Now, obviously, his Wander Franco's, situation is the extreme.
yes.
But it is tough when you're thinking about like, oh yeah, like I could buy into a really good Lamar Jackson. Well, you think, yeah, sure, Lamar Jackson could be a great buy right now, but it is risky, or if, it is very risky to kind of go into those high value. I also really want to know how many hobbyists are spending that amount of money and how many cards are working out. Like
Great question.
how many times are they actually profiting, and what is their profit margin? Like what's their profit percentage on these cards? Are they walking away like doubling their money, or are they walking away with like a, $100 made, and now I just got $4,000 back,
Right.
and I can use that $4,000 to buy something else?
Exactly. I want to know how much they're making, and I want to know how long they're holding the card.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I do not think they're holding it long.
Me
Because what
neither.
he said is he bought it. I think he said he bought it at that Wander card before the season started or right at the beginning of the season, and his plan was then to sell it in July. So he probably bought it like in like March or something, and then he was ready to turn it and flip it in July. So that might be your length of like, hey, if I'm spending this amount of money, I want this card gone in like a couple months.
Yeah. That's exactly what I've been pitching to you guys. Like
Yeah.
as much as it pains me and how much I love Bowman and how addicted I am to Bowman draft, like that's a great point by you. Any card that you invest in, there's going to be risk. Even if like, God, there's maybe a few players, Mahomes, maybe other people, like maybe LeBron, people who have cemented their quote unquote legacy in their sport.
Yeah.
I guess those
Like
cards kind of,
McDavid.
yeah, exactly. You can hold those cards a little bit longer, but if you're taking a risk on even Paul Skeens, like what's going to happen?
Yeah.
God forbid something happens to his arm and he just like, yeah, he turns into Strasburg basically. You know what I'm saying?
I hope not. I really
Yeah,
hope not, you know.
me too. So Lamar too, like he has not won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
If he gets hurt,
Well, you know, it's funny. They were talking about, and I think it was on Speak. They were talking. They were like, how many times do we rip on Dak Prescott for his playoff record, and then they put up side by side Dak versus Lamar Jackson, and Dak plays better in the playoffs than Lamar does.
I was going
But
to
they're
say that to
like,
you.
they're saying nobody gives Lamar crap for the way he plays in the postseason or in the playoffs yet. So
They
they're
should.
like, do they? Yeah, exactly. They're like, does Lamar deserve the same amount of hate come playoffs that Dak gets, even though Dak's putting up better numbers than Lamar does?
That's a
So
question to you, Jason.
he's damn does. I don't know where this stuff's coming from. Getting attacked
Jason's
over.
ceiling is just going to fall on. I have to call 911 to send a car to Jason's house. But yeah, hey, he should. I am a firm believer in accountability in sports and in the hobby. So if
Yeah.
you're going to hate on Dak, you need to hate on Lamar too.
Yeah.
Because, I
Mhm.
mean, the Ravens had an amazing team last year. They have an amazing team this year.
I mean, at least they went to the AFC Championship game. They did
Yeah.
that. They just, you know, they unfortunately lost to Mahomes, which they're not the only ones. You know,
Exactly.
they're not the only ones that have fell to that sword. But speaking of the hobby, and you know, and you talking about, you know, how much the hobby has grown, we're seeing a lot. Like the hobby's getting really big, and it's becoming this global like sensation that, you know, everybody. I mean, you're seeing, you know, these huge tech investors getting into it. You're now seeing, you know, athletes getting into it. You're seeing musical artists that get into it. These major companies like Fanatics, you know, they're buying up these other companies. But what comes with that is a lot of negativity too. And I want to get into it because I know it's a big topic that a lot of people have been talking about. And me personally, I think anybody in the hobby, if anybody is a lover of this hobby, should be absolutely pissed off at this topic.
Oh boy.
CT scanning in the hobby. People are scanning packs and wax using CT scanners, basically X-rays, to see what kind of cards are in there. If you are a hobbyist and you're running your own business, anything like this, this should be the worst possible news, in my opinion, that you can hear. It kind of almost ruins the hobby for me. And I get it. We're about spreading the hobby love. This is not spreading the hobby love. This to me is going to potentially ruin the hobby. I want to get your well, okay. Yeah, I can go. I was going to pitch it to you, but I can go. So basically, for anybody who doesn't know, there's basically, I don't know the name of the company, but there's a company out there that you can basically, it's like a grading service, kind of like similar to grade. You can send packs and or boxes to this company, and based on a price, I think it's $75 per pack. And then if you want to send a box, you have to email for pricing. So this is all, I heard this when I was listening to one of Jeff Wilson's shows on his YouTube channel. But basically, you could send the packs and boxes to this company, and they will CT scan them for you, and then basically let you know what's in them and what's not. That's terrible. That is so bad for this hobby, because to me, you're already getting a lot of scammers. You're getting a lot of scammers in this hobby. You're getting hobby shops are getting broken into. You know, they're losing like, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars in product, you know, by these people who are crashing into their you know, hobby stores. It's getting to a point, you know, where it's like, yeah, you're starting to get a lot of negativity with it, but that's just because it's getting so large. But this to me is like the icing on the cake that's just like, this is going to ruin it for me if this starts to actually become a thing. Because to me, it's almost like you just won't be able to trust really kind of anything in the hobby now. So, like, what's your opinion on it? I know you're probably not happy with it. Yeah. Give me your take.
I'm super pissed off about it. The reason that JELI Cards was formed was because of the joy that we experienced opening packs, thinking like, hey, we could hit something crazy. And then you do hit something crazy and you just have that overwhelming
Yeah.
joy, euphoria, whatever the word is, and you're just like overwhelmed with excitement, and you get to share that excitement with our like we're basically brothers, like our best friends.
Yeah.
Doing, or I guess this company offering the CT scanning service now, in my opinion, and you brought this up in the group chat, so thank you, Jason. I agree with you. I can no longer feel comfortable breaking with anybody besides the breakers that I trust. And even
Mm.
then, like I have the breaker that I use that I love, but how can I know for certain that it's not scanned? How can I have proof? Like basically I want every breaker who's going to be running breaks to only do case breaks, and I need you to open the case live.
I mean,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
right? That's
I mean,
like
yeah,
it's what it's
yeah.
gotten to. If I was even if I go to a hobby shop, like I am a firm, like positive person when it comes to hobby shops and LCSs. I'm almost certain there's not a single hobby shop in the country that I've gone to personally that is going to use a CT scanner. But if I go to a big time hobby shop, how do I know? How do I have proof that they didn't like pick out the boxes, send them out, just bring them back, and be like, okay, we're putting these ones on the shelves. We're going to open these ones for ourselves, sell them to the masses.
Especially
It's
buying on eBay.
oh yeah,
I would never buy it. I would never buy sealed wax like box on eBay ever again. Like I would
right.
never do that. Like if I was buying wax, I would either try to buy directly from the actual company, or just stick to buying retail, product. Or you're gonna build relationships along the way. Stick to the people that you know you can trust.
Yes.
I'll still
Yeah.
break.
Hell
I'll
yeah.
break with Mars. I'll break with Clayton. Like I would break with Mama breaks. I would break with all of them. Like the ones that you know you can trust, absolutely. But yeah, it's going to be extremely hard to get over this like kind of conspiracy feeling that like, well, what if I didn't see them open up this seal case? There's just boxes sitting here. How do I know that they did? Now, granted, I don't know how easy it is to go out and buy a CT scanner or anything like that. So like basically what Jeff, like the points that Jeff was making, and
Yeah, I was curious about that.
I understand where he was coming from with the points that he was making in his video, where he was basically saying, I wrote some of the stuff down. He said the way it works, because they run their own breaks, and he was like, absolutely 100%. We are never going to do this, which I like. He put that out there on a video, said we are never ever going to do this. But he said when you buy product and you get it before release date, he said you pretty much get it before like 1 or 2 days prior to the release date. So he was like, first off, there really wouldn't be much time for us to then take those boxes and send it over and ship it to this company for them to do the CT scan, for them then to ship it back to us and have it here for release day so we can break it. Because he was like, if you're getting product before release day and you're a breaker, you want to break on that release day.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And then he talked about too, like how basically breakers, the whole point of their business are hits,
Yeah.
and of course, like you want the hits to be on screen. So he was like, I don't see why a breaker would do a CT scan, set off the hits for them personally on the side, and then open up boxes that are not going to have the major hits, which I agree. Of course, yeah, okay, if you're buying into a breaker who's not hitting, are you going to continue to keep buying into that person? Like if they're like, the reason why people
Good
buy
point.
into backyard breaks,
They get all the hits.
they get all the hits, right? Why people buy into Leighton breaks or whoever, Pull Wax, whatever company that you're going to buy into breaks with, you're buying into them because they're getting hits. So if you're now setting those hits aside and you're opening up a bunch of wax and people are walking away with losses, well, you're probably not going to continue to break with them. So I can understand that. But then he sent it over to Teapot, and Teapot's my dude. I like
Teapot is his
Teapot.
actual name.
No, that's just the nickname he calls him.
Cool. That's
I
funny.
believe it's called. I think that's what he says. Is Teapot every time. I loved listening to what he was saying because he basically was like, no, absolutely. Because Jeff was like, okay, everybody basically relax. This is not that big of a deal. I don't think this is not going to, basically what he said was, this is not going to affect like 99% of the hobby. Because he was like, realistically, the only sets that people are going to really do this for are like the NT flawless, immaculate, and he's like, everybody's not going around buying like $20,000 boxes.
I'm
I
already
mean,
pissed. Keep going though.
but basically, Teapot, there was one thing that Teapot said that I really, really liked, and he said, I don't know if it's necessarily going to affect the new boxes, like the new releases. He said, but it's certainly going to affect boxes that people have been sitting on
Oh
for
shit.
years
True.
that they're letting accumulate value over time, like 2003 exquisite boxes with LeBron James, or
Damn.
2017
Yeah.
Mahomes rookie boxes. He's like, this is where it's going to affect those collectors that are sitting on these boxes and wanting them to accrue value. They went from being probably like a couple $100 back then to now they're like $20, $30,000 boxes. I know Exquisite goes for like 45 G's.
Yep.
They're like, how can you trust now
Yeah.
that box, because you're
Oh,
not
shit.
buying a whole case of it now, that single box has not been CT scanned. That was a long, long rant. Go ahead.
Dude. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Good job,
Yeah.
Teapot.
Yeah.
True. Like, oh man, what would I
I wouldn't touch them anymore.
I'd probably list them all now. What am I gonna
Would
do?
you even list them now? Because the reason why he's saying is, like, if you list it now, people are the first thing they're gonna think is, did you CT scan this? Am I
So
buying a box that doesn't have the chase in it?
exactly. And
Yeah.
the reason I would list it right now is because the longer I wait, the longer that people are going to be like, this is, how do I know this wasn't CT scan? So the longer you wait, the more, I guess, advanced that's the scanning becomes. And I guess better word is more accessible the CT scanning becomes, and more just how the seed has currently been planted and now it's just going to grow to everybody in the hobby. Like, I don't want to buy that box. It might have been CT scanned.
Yeah.
So if you don't do it now, years from now, somebody's just be like, I can't trust this at all. I don't know if it's been CT scanned.
Mm-hmm.
Great point on that. Going back to what Jeff said, that only it's not going to affect 99% of the hobby. That kind of made me a little bit angry, because the reason, like, the people who can afford these super high-end boxes, the top 1% of the people in the hobby, they are just going to continue getting the big hits. Like, if they already don't care about money, basically money is nothing to them, they can go buy a 20 box and it won't be anything.
Mm-hmm.
Now they can get the boxes that have been CT scanned with the bigger hits, and their profits just became even larger. So that makes me super angry. It affects us in the way that, like, I have a dream that I'm gonna go buy a NT box. I'm gonna go buy an immaculate box
Yeah.
one day. But now even if I attain that dream, all of those boxes have been CT scanned,
Yep.
allegedly, and all of the big hits are gone. So it affects us absolutely. The argument that it doesn't affect us kind of makes me angry.
Well, I think he's just saying because, like, okay, yes, we're not going out and buying $20,000 boxes of NT. Yeah. Well, I
If I
mean,
want
yeah,
to one day,
sure,
it's
one
like
day,
it
yeah,
hinders me now. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? If I wanted to go buy a box one day, if I like hit a massive card out of a Topps Chrome or a Bowman,
yeah.
I'm like, all right, let's go buy some 2017 NT and hit a Mahomes rookie auto.
Well, now I'm kind of worried too that because he also made the comment about he doesn't believe that people are going to use them for like lower valued sets. Like, people aren't going to like send like Topps Chrome baseball in to like
Yeah,
get it CT scanned. But if they're adding RPAs now into it, and there's a major rookie coming into why wouldn't they?
right,
If there's a Skeens patch, 101 in it,
dude.
why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they want to CT scan these boxes and see what you? So I mean, yeah, because especially if you look at it, if there's hobbyists out there who are willing to spend hundreds of dollars to send one card to get graded just so they can have it back in a day,
Yeah,
what tells me that they're not going to buy up an entire sealed case and send 12 boxes over and have the all 12 to see what they see what they get, and then they're going to set whatever hits aside, yeah, and then they're going to just sell the rest of them or break them or whatever. It's a very unfortunate thing, and that's what I said. If you are a lover of the hobby and you're a lover of buying sports cards, collecting sports cards, in my opinion, ripping packs, ripping wax, in my opinion, this should be the worst news possible. It shouldn't even be allowed. Whatever, I don't even like the fact that this company is out there trying to make money off of it, because you're ruining it for everybody. Because I don't like you. We don't need these high end buyers and stuff to be able to still get all this, to be the ones to be able to send it. I'm assuming it's probably a lot of money to send a box to them, but people are
Right.
going to do it because their money ain't a thing, apparently.
Yeah, man.
So
Exactly.
yeah, it
If
really upsets me.
if somebody buys a $20,000 box and then they send it off, they realize that they don't have a massive hit in it. They'll just sell it back
They're just going to
instead
sell
of
it.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah. Instead of losing 20K, I now lost I don't
Or
know,
they're going to
maybe
break it.
$1,000. Yeah,
Yeah, or they're gonna break
yeah,
it, and somebody's gonna get, and somebody is gonna buy into it, and they're gonna get screwed because it doesn't have what they wanted into it, and it's an unfortunate thing. It shouldn't be allowed. I think I think they were saying too that like Fanatics is really heavily looking into it, and Tops is really heavily looking into it, and I
Oh,
guess they said something like Fanatics is going to try to figure out a way to see if a box has been scanned or not.
oh.
Like if
I thought
there's
they were
a
gonna try to make them like unscannable or something.
well, that would be that. I mean, that would be a good
Yeah,
put a blocker in it. I'm
yeah.
assuming just put like a lead blocker on top or something like that.
PC with the lead.
Dang, like no, what I'm saying is like if like when they do with X-rays,
Yeah,
you go to the dentist and they put the lead cover on you because it's not gonna reach through. Just layer it on the top.
oh,
There
yeah,
you
sure,
go.
Jason.
There you go. Patent it.
Yeah, they can't
The
do that.
jelly card's lead cover.
Oh, yeah. We just lose all of our money. No one's gonna buy that thing.
They're gonna look in the see thing. It's just gonna be like a middle finger.
Yeah, exactly. But something I don't know, some sort of chip or something that you could
Yeah.
scramble the X-ray. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, it shouldn't be done in the hobby. People are just trying to get those massive cards because they know it's almost making me think just let's just buy singles. I'll just stick to singles, man. I don't need to open up wax. It's fun to open up packs, but you know what? At this rate, I don't want to even risk it. I don't ever, I'll just buy the singles. I'll just wait for the card to be pulled and I'll buy it.
Yeah, but
I know it's the unfortunate part of it. That is the unfortunate part that, people, it might actually even start to hurt some of the wax sales for these companies because how do I know? There was always there was like a conspiracy with like again with certain breakers that they were getting loaded cases.
yep.
I don't, I'm not going to call anybody out or anything like that, but there was a lot of talk that, breakers out there were getting loaded cases. They were getting juice cases. Now it's like, well, how do I know Panini's not scanning their boxes and going, hey, this is where all the hits are. We put them, they got put in these boxes. We're going to ship them out to you. So, because you're our best client.
Dude. Oh, that'd be so sad and so bad.
It's like, and then it makes you wonder, like, well, now that it's surfacing now, like maybe how long has the CT stuff been going on that nobody was saying anything? It's been happening for years, and now all of a sudden it's surfacing, but that's why certain things have been happening in the hobby.
Do you think then that just the amount of people joining breaks and ripping wax is going to go down significantly? And a lot
No,
of people
I don't think
exactly.
so. I still think people are going to, because I think what's going to happen is people are going to trust in the breakers that they've been breaking in for years. They're going to trust that, they're doing the right thing. And hey, or they're going to be like, hey, they're scanning them and they're getting the hits, and I'm going to buy into them because I know that they have the hits now.
Okay. All right.
Maybe.
I hope you're right. Yeah, I hope that's the case.
I hope it's the first one. I hope people just trust in like I said, I know I can trust Mars.
Yep.
I know I can trust Clayton. I know I can trust Baseline. I know I can trust Mama Breaks. A lot of the hobbyists that, we've made friends with over the years, and I know we can trust them, and so I'm never going to be worried. Let's keep breaking with them,
Yeah.
We'll keep breaking with them because they're what the hobby should be. Everyone should be looking at them going, this is how the hobby should be. Like, they're the ones that are carrying the hobby, not,
Shout out to I want to plug my breakers too. Like Buckeye and One of
Yeah.
One,
Hmm.
and on Facebook, Pristine Worldwide. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not going to stop breaking with the people that we trust. But I think a huge point that you made was that I probably am not going to be looking to buy sealed wax on eBay ever again. Even like I said, like cases, like I would only buy a case, but now how do I know? How do I know that they haven't opened it? Like delicately, sent them
Yeah.
off, brought them back, sealed it, and sold it.
Yeah.
Which is an unfortunate, tying it all together, it's an unfortunate part of this hobby growing so much that you kind of take the good with the bad.
Well, it's starting to, like you said, like we're getting smarter as investors or collectors. Things are evolving in the hobby, and you have to adapt with the changes that are happening. So, like, we're just being smarter with our money and what we're
Yes.
spending it on. And that's just what happens. When you get something that's now a global phenomenon, like, it's going to happen. It's going to come with some negativity, but there's way more positive things that are happening. And the other topic that I really wanted to talk about is the release of Topps Chrome basketball. I think it's been well over a decade, I think, since the last time Topps Chrome has released the basketball set. However, it is unlicensed. They don't have the license yet, but they're putting out a set, and in that set is a 1/1 Victor Wembanyama rookie superfractor auto. Yeah, rookie. I mean, it's got the RC on it. Well, I guess it probably is rookie because we haven't made it to the second season yet.
Right.
He hasn't made it to his second season yet. They're still within reason, and their set's released. So I guess they can call it a rookie card. It's not. I guess I don't know if you would call it the true rookie card. However, there is a $1 million bounty on this 1/1 Victor Wembanyama Superfractor auto. $1 million, and it's from the owner of Blez Sports Cards, which he's a massive poker player, I guess, too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the video he created when he put out the bounty, he said like, "Oh, I just won like $2 million in this poker tournament," and he's like, "And $1 million is going back to the hobby. If somebody pulls this, I'll give you $1 million for that card."
Dude.
Oh, John, is that unlicensed Victor Wembanyama 1/1 Superfractor auto worth $1 million?
Okay. Being always, as always, honest and transparent. In my opinion, no, it is not. I would not spend $1 million on it. Because of the unlicensed, because of the, I don't know, just the look of the card just doesn't look as cool as like a Prism or an NT or Immaculate, things like that. However, kind of playing devil's advocate again for myself, the fact that it's a superfractor, which is like iconic in the history of Topps, superfractor auto has the RC on it,
Yep.
and it's Victor, which is
It's his first true rookie auto because Panini does not, well, he doesn't have a contract with Panini to make any autos. So
exactly. So there, it has that going for it.
yeah,
But the reason that I said no on it being worth $1 million, Jason drinks his drink. The reason that I said
it's hot
no,
in here, man. I'm getting dehydrated.
the reason I said no is that because I think years from now, if I'm going after Victor cards, I want the Prism. I want the, I don't know, like I guess Immaculate, Flawless, NT. I want those rookie cards because they're licensed and they have him in his Spurs uniform. But hey, man, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. In 5 to 10 years after Victor wins like 7 MVPs, everyone's going to be chasing the Superfractor Auto Rookie, and they're going to be putting out $4 million, $5 million. So, for the sake of the hobby, I hope it becomes worth more than that. But I don't know. I'm not attracted to it, if that's a good word. I'm not like excited to go rip it. But how do you feel?
Well, first off, how do you feel it's going to affect the Prism market, though? Now that you're getting Victor autos,
That's a good question.
which you sent that one already. You sent one already in our chat that's listed on eBay that was already over $2,000. And that was just a base auto. That's a base rookie auto of his. Raw. So how is that now going to affect the Prism market? Because like I said, the Prism market, you don't have autos. There are no autos. You can get obviously some high valued cards because they'll be low numbered or certain parallels.
Okay.
I could see
Dude.
why.
Yeah, I'm
But
sorry.
but like how do you think it's going to do you think now we're going to see a drop in Prism like Wemby cards? I hope not because we just bought one.
Yeah, no, first of all, like we talked about earlier, what's it called? Integrity, I guess, or just basically the history of the Prism rookie being a Prism rookie, like a Black Finite or just like the true gold out of 10. Those cards are always going to be sought after. They're always going to be super expensive. Do I think that Topps Chrome release is going to affect the Prism market in a negative way? No. If it does, I would personally buy up more Prism. I would probably buy like a numbered Victor Prism in a PSA 10 if people are so focused on Topps Chrome. But that's a really good like hobby discussion. Would I rather
Dude,
buy? Did you see the gold? Are you looking at the
no,
gold?
no.
Hold on.
His Topps Chrome refractor, just refractor rookie card, raw is with 15 hours left is already at $380. Just a refractor rookie.
Let me explain to you why I made my eye gesture.
Oh my god, the
Victor
pink's at 100.
Victor Wembanyama, 2023-24 Topps Chrome rookie autograph gold out of 50. With 2 days and 11 hours left, $10,100. So maybe I'm wrong.
Bid on
Maybe
it.
the Prism rookie is not going to be this. I don't. Hold on. Let me see what the most expensive. The Prism Victor Gold Sparkle rookie out of 24 PSA 10 sold on August 4th for $25,700. So maybe
Ugh.
but I don't. $10,000 for a. This is what I mean. Like, Victor is Victor. I think Topps, I want to shout out Topps and Fanatics for doing this now because they realize, kind of like how Upper Deck realized with Bedard. I don't think Upper Deck deciding to put out numbered Young Guns was just a coincidence. I think having generational talent inside an upcoming release, they thought to themselves, hey, there's going to absolutely be a market boom. We need to do something to make sure people buy our product. Topps doing this with Victor is a huge, smart financial decision because it's Victor, and everyone's going to want the Victor rookie auto. They're going to want a Victor anything that has RC rated rookie on it. It's just going to be a quote unquote a Prism iconic rookie card of one of the best players in basketball history, allegedly. So I got off track because I'm so distracted.
How is it going to do over time though? Because
Yes,
a lot of this could be just hype because it's his rookie. You know, it's a Topps Chrome rookie. It just got released. It's got autos. So a lot of people are going to be super hyped up over it now. But I keep going back. It's unlicensed. It's an unlicensed product. It doesn't have the Spurs logo on it. Like, so when they start like over time, I just don't know how well it's going to do. I still personally feel like the Prism market over time, if he does start hitting MVPs and he starts winning a lot, you know, accomplishing a lot in the NBA, if he goes to an NBA Finals and wins an MVP, those Prism ones are probably going to be better because I would rather see him in a Spurs uniform. It might even be where his second year or the first, think about the first year that Fanatics and Topps gets the license to put the Spurs on his jersey. Yeah. Those are going to be, I think, even more money than his rookie card. Because that's going to be the first year that I think for a lot of the players like LeBron, Steph, like all of them are probably, those are probably going to be very high valued cards, even though they're not rookies, but because it's the first release of the set, it's Topps Chrome. They haven't done Topps Chrome. And like I said, it's been like over a decade, like 15 years or something like that. A lot of people are going to run out to want to get these cards because it's licensed product now. And I think Victor's cards in that set that's finally licensed is going to be way more money. And I just, you know, I would be very hesitant to rush out and buy one of these cards for $10,000, $25,000 because,
yeah, I know. That's
you know,
phenomenal point. I completely agree. If I had to, first of all, personally, again, I am not buying into any Topps Chrome basketball. if I am buying into Top Scrum basketball and I do hit a Victor,
You
it's
wouldn't even
being
buy like if you saw it retail. Like, what if you got like if there's like mega boxes or something? You wouldn't buy at least one just to rip.
this is what I'm going to say. So if I bought anything Top Scrum related, I am immediately selling it. I'm like, the only reason I would buy it is
But
to
how do I
hope.
know you didn't CT scan it?
Tune in next week when we got John looking at his CT scanner. But yeah, I would only buy Topps Chrome currently to sell it. Or if I'm ripping Topps Chrome and I hit something, I'm selling it right away. Because of what you said and because of how I feel that over time, I think it's going to just get, the hype is going to diminish. People are going to be like, okay, basketball's starting. I want Prism. I want the
Yeah.
Optic rookies. I want those rookies with him in his Spurs uniform. And all those sets have already come out. So this is like a later quote unquote rookie release set. So
Yeah. Well,
that's just how I feel.
that could be why too. It's picking up a lot of steam is because Prism's been out for a while now, and there's no other like real good basketball products that are coming out until now. Until the season starts, and then this year's crop is gonna start getting released. So that could be also why too. Everyone's been already buying up Wemby. If you have Wemby already, or if you probably already bought Wemby from these previous sets, so now you're looking at, I could buy even more Wemby, and I can get it with his RC on it. I can get it with the, his auto. Like, yeah, I'm gonna spend a lot of money, but
And it's on card, which is great.
yeah, it's not a sticker. I mean, I personally, I think over time, I don't think this one's going to retain the value that it has right now. But I think, man, that first licensed set, I think that's going to be a very, very big one, even though it's not. And that was another thing too that I wanted to talk about real quick too is, you know, another thing that I noticed in a lot of the videos that I was watching, cards that collectors were buying. A lot of collectors don't just buy rookie cards either. A lot of them buy like, Steph Curry, from like 2023 set. I mean, granted, again, it's a very rare card, low numbered card, graded in a high grade or something like that. But they still buy up those cards like a ton. And I don't know necessarily if those are collection cards or if those are like, I think I can make money on this, because a lot of them they were buying up like Nebula 101s, but it's like LeBron's like 101 from whatever Nebula set is. I forgot off the top of my head, like Spectra or something like that. I can't remember, but it's like from 2023. But they're buying them up. Like they're buying up a ton because they're like, it's a 101. They're like,
And
it's a
it's
101. And it's LeBron. People are going to want this card. And I'm like, I don't look at it. Like, I just never approached it. I'd like rookie card, first Bowman. That's all I'm looking at. I don't look at like second, third, fourth years. But I guess if it's in a low numbered or it's high grade, low number, auto, something like that, patch card, I guess there is some money into it.
Yeah, I think that like I'm trying to twist it into like a positive. That's kind of a good sign for the hobby that people are still buying up second year, third year, fourth year.
Yeah.
And then tying it back to Topps Chrome, I saw like a post about Steph Curry and his rookie superfractor still has never surfaced. I don't know if it's been hit, and people are like, "Oh,
well, it's just we don't know." I think they said that about LeBron. LeBron, I think, has a logo man from 2003 that has never surfaced either. I think so. I forgot what video I was watching about it, but I think somebody said that too. That like, oh, everyone like doesn't realize that there's a better chase card that has never surfaced.
Damn. I know. I feel like I've seen a video about Brady too. There's like a Brady 101 that has never been hit.
Hey man, Bedard.
Yeah.
Bedard's still out there too, man. Well, allegedly he could still be out there.
Yeah, we don't know. But yeah, like we talked about, the rarity of the card is because of the growth in the hobby. The rarity of the card is becoming very important.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to mention on the Pokemon episode that I missed. But in terms of rarity when it comes to Pokemon cards, I think people are gonna start hunting for low pop Pokemon cards. Even though the Moonbreon and the Gengar and all those super cool art cards are essentially like having a LeBron or a Steph or a Mahomes. It's an iconic card. But as those pop counts just get higher and higher, I think the growth in the hobby is going to start shifting to, do I want this out of 50 rookie card in a PSA 10 that's like a pop 40, or do I want this other out of 50 second year card that's a pop 3? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's going to
Yeah.
be a difficult battle that people are going to be having with themselves, and it's a cool thing. It's cool that people are like really interested in these cards.
Yeah, it's really showing that the hobby is headed in the right direction, especially when you have people out there who are willing to spend this amount of money. Like, I think the day this stops, like, and we stop seeing prices like this for these high valued, like these huge rookies that are coming in these high valued sets, like the day that stops is gonna, be a difficult time in the hobby. Like, I think that's when you're gonna realize, like, oh, wait, something's going on here. But as long as people keep spending this amount of money, hey man, the hobby is going to be thriving for a very, very long time.
Like, asking you, would you, in defense of people who are buying into like Topps Chrome, why wouldn't you? If you can hit a base Topps Chrome Wemby rookie and sell it for like $100, what? Like,
I mean, you got to think that it
why
should
not?
be somewhat easy to pull a base, at least a base.
Yeah, especially
I
out
mean,
of a hobby box.
we thought that about the Brady's though in draft, and we didn't pull a single one out of a whole case.
That's true.
So I don't know.
Are you interested in buying any Topps Chrome basketball?
I think I was gonna go to Target today.
Yeah, see, if you found it retail,
Yeah, yeah, I might, open a box.
yeah.
I might, if there was a mega box sitting there, yeah, I'd probably open it up and just be like, hey, whatever. Like, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I'll cry.
Yeah, I'll cry. Walk
I'll
home.
I'll be so mad. It'll ruin my entire day until the
there,
next
brother.
box I open. So,
And
but I
ruin
think-
that day.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that's a good spot that we can end on. So, if you want to wrap us up,
Okay. Final thoughts. I've lost the order of operations because we've talked about so many things now. But basically, this podcast episode was dedicated to the hobby, which is nice. We talked about cards more often than we have been in other episodes, so that was cool. We talked about the Topps Chrome release. We talked about the CT scanning. We talked about, what was the first thing we talked about?
we talked about the BGS cards. The
Oh yeah,
Slabs.
BGS. Oh man. So if you're out there and you're buying up BGS, SGC, CGC, freaking the Dallas grading company cards. I don't even know if Jeter still has his grading company. Anything that's not PSA Slab, please reach out to JELI Cards, and just in general in the hobby. I love, as much as I rag on other grading companies and as much as I say JELI Cards is strictly PSA, it's still nice to see. It's nice to see that there are like hardcore collectors out there. They're like, whatever, it's just a slab. I want the card. Always buy the card. Don't buy the grade. Right on. Reach out to us on social media, Instagram and Twitter. We are JELI Cards, JELICARDS. On YouTube, it's also just JELI Cards, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, we're pretty active on YouTube now, or at least we're trying to be. Thanks to Jason. So reach out. Let us know what you think. Anything and everything that we ever talk about is just strictly our opinion. So if you want to talk about why you're buying up BGS, by all means, let us know. If you want to say, hey, the CT scanning is actually a good thing, I would love to hear it. I love to hear opposite takes and kind of feed off each other. I want to hear everyone's thoughts. If you are buying Topps Chrome and you are collecting it, hell yes, please reach out. We want to hear this kind of stuff. So thank you everybody for listening and watching. If you watched the podcast episode, thank you, Jason. Hopefully no ceiling falls on you in the next few minutes. And yeah, hope we all have an amazing weekend and an amazing week ahead. And as always, keep spreading the love of this hobby from your friends at JELI Cards.
That's it.